Nobody has been able to deny Pep Guardiola's Manchester City side a victory so far this season, but that's until they traveled to a little place called Paradise, where Celtic was able to pull out a 3-3 draw in the Champions League just the other day. And I think you look at that match on its face, and really coming into that one, Man City they were exactly the word before. They are perfect. No one has been able to beat them to this point in all competitions. In the Champions League, in the Premier League, they have been sensational. And then Celtic really coming off of that demoralizing 7-0 loss to Barcelona. And I think when you looked at it, look, I always say whenever it looks too easy, it always is. And I really thought that Celtic was going to come out in this match really, really revved up and ready. And I don't think I necessarily would have picked Man City to lose this match, and they didn't, but I did think that Celtic was going to come into this at their own place with their fans, their tremendous fan base, ready to play and ready to equalize whenever they could. Now, Celtic was the one who jumped out to the 1-0 lead. Then City responds 1-1. Then Celtic jumps back into the lead. Then City responds again, and then Celtic gets the third goal, and then Man City, Nolito, is able to punch it in at the end and equalize it up. But tremendously well-played game from Celtic. This is by far the most difficult group in the Champions League in these opening groups. And of course, Barcelona is able to pull out a win the other day. City is able to equalize and pull out a draw. But I look at this match and I just think, even with the draw, it still says everything that's great and everything that's changed for Guardiola's Man City side. If Pellegrini was still at the helm for this side, I don't think that's the kind of win that City's able to ever muster, or even maybe pull out the draw, because they just aren't organized enough and the players aren't united enough. I mean, you look at Raheem Sterling, makes a big, it's one of those situations where he lets the second goal go in and he deflects it because he uses his speed, he uses his effort to try to get back and make a big play, but the ball deflects off of him, goes into the net. But then he responds after that with Raheem Sterling's goal to equalize it for City and make it 2-2 was just incredible in every single way. I mean, that is the goal. That is the reason why Manchester City paid all that money for him, why people were so raving about him as he grew up and as a youth development player. Because just the technical skill and ability that he showed, just that you kind of speed it down and you put it in a freeze frame and you watch it frame by frame. Raheem Sterling just did something on that play that not a lot of people can do. And to me, my jaw almost dropped. It was a sensational goal. But the biggest thing that I don't think he could have done that last year is because he just didn't have that confidence in himself. And especially after making a mistake where it really wasn't his fault, even to a big degree. But that's a difficult position to be in, where you give up that goal and it goes off of you and into the net. But he responded from that, and you can just see he's playing with a different fire and a different confidence in himself so far this season. Raheem Sterling and David Silva, the way they've been playing off of each other this year. Everything for Man City, just to me, it screams confidence, it screams unity, and those are the words that were missing so much from them last season. And even though it's a draw, I don't think it would have been a draw last season or the season before that, because they didn't have that toughness, they didn't have that confidence, and most importantly, they didn't have that unity. Unity is the word that is the most important to Man City's future and to their present task at hand. But their task at hand now shifts to the Premier League this weekend, where they are in first place, take on Tottenham in second place at White Hart Lane. And obviously, perfection still has not eluded Pep Guardiola in the Premier League. Even though he now picks up a draw in the Champions League, his team still very much has not lost in the Premier League. 6 wins from 6. He broke the record last weekend. Carlo Ancelotti, before him, was the first manager ever to win his first 5 opening matches. Pep Guardiola has now won his first 6 and is now looking to make it 7. This is a very difficult match. Obviously, Man City's first big test in the Premier League this year was when they went to Old Trafford to take on Man United. They come out of that one with a huge victory. Now they're on it. They're up against it again on the road against Tottenham. And remember, the Spurs beat Man City both times they played them last season. I think it was kind of one of the overarching themes of last year, where Tottenham, among all the other top clubs, just always denied Man City a victory. City could not defeat the top clubs in the Premier League last season, which begged the question, are they one of the top clubs if they can't beat them? And my answer to that question always was no. Even though they had the talent, they didn't have the unity, they didn't have the confidence in themselves, and I think that, of course, starts from the top and works its way to the bottom. But at the top now for Man City, they have the best manager in that league, and he certainly is rubbed off on his players from a confidence standpoint and from a unity and tactical organizational standpoint. So will Man City pull out the victory over Tottenham? We're still a couple of days away, so I'll make that pick a little bit later in the week, but I do think right now my gut leans towards Man City to continue to pick it up with a victory over Tottenham. And I just look at it from a standpoint of, in the Champions League, this is a match where it's good for them to have to gut that out and be able to pull off that equalizer. Tottenham also was able to pull out a win the Champions League this week, but even them, I just think you look at the difference between the way that they won and even the way that Man City pulled out their draw, and you could just tell very, very easily which one is just at a different level. Tottenham, it's going to be difficult for them this season to balance the responsibilities of the Champions League with the Premier League, with how competitive this season is looking to shape up to be, with the likes of Everton and Liverpool and United kind of getting back on track. The league is going to be so... I mean, you just look at Leicester and the trouble they're having this season. I don't think that's necessarily an indictment on Leicester. I think that just shows you how much better this league is this season. I mean, even Chelsea is going through a little bit of a tough, dry spell right now, and after the tremendous start they had to the season. The Premier League last season, it was a down year across the board largely, but this season it is back with a thunderous roar across everyone, the top managers, all the top players that were brought in this summer, but Man City has led that pack. And after Tottenham, it doesn't get much easier right after that against Everton, who's been tremendous this season as well, but I do think City is just at a different level, and I've been saying it time and time again. I think the word that explains it all is unity or community. Whichever one you want to use, there's no arguing that the Manchester City club is united in a way that they haven't been under Manuel Pellegrini, and it's something that stems from Pep Guardiola. But until the next time, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino and on Instagram Jersey_Joe_Archino, and I'll catch everybody in the next episode.